Welcome back, my fellow agents. It is I, your agent of animated awesome, X7, the host of Zenorama, the podcast of heroes and monsters. It is Monday, which is animated series day, and today we're looking at episodes 16 through 20 of Kimba the White Lion. So, that's him, all right, who lives down in deepest, darkest Africa. So these episodes, let's see if I can get there. There we go. Were aired first in Japan. Oh, come on, where are the episodes you read? There we go. Too many clicks, pal. Oh, they were aired in Japan January 19th, 1966 through February 16th, 1966. A week. And in the West, all over the place from April 67 to January 67. There's just no telling. Because they were not broadcast in order, they didn't have to be. NBC wanted it that way. But before we get too much further in here, here's our first episode. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Leaving comments is really nice. I do try to respond to all of them. And if you could just watch for a couple minutes longer than normal, clear to the end would be great. But no pressure. All right. So episode 16 is Diamonds in the Gruff, which play on the words diamonds in the rough. But this time it's literal. Start out with a plane flying across Africa, and there are two scoundrels there, Manny Mean and Norbert Nasty. I think Manny Mean is the one with the cigar, but they're smoking in planes. And cigarettes were bad enough in planes. I can't imagine having a cigar in a plane, but it happened, and they get engine trouble. Down they go. Now, they have to lighten their load. They have one engine. They have to lighten the load. So they throw out a bunch of stuff, because it's better to throw out your stuff than throw away your lives, right? So here we have Ollie Alligator, even though I don't, I meant to look that up and see if alligators were native to Africa. It seems like crocodiles were, but his name's Ollie or Allie. It's hard to tell with the dub, but the animals want to make friends, and they find a canister of gas, and the dumb little alligator bites it and swallows some of it and gets a stomach ache. This leads to the alligators, not wanting Kimba to play with their kid and to be punished for it because they didn't ask the kid if he did it on purpose. But Kimba stops them all, and then they go on about their way for a while. Here's Mean and Nasty. I swear Peter Fernandez wrote these scripts. They're gone back to where they dropped everything. They're looking for it. They found a balloon in it and they shoot it. Roger is watching and doesn't think to tell anyone. And of course, there's smuggled diamonds, $1 billion in diamonds, $1 billion baby face there. Probably $1 million, but Gruff, of course, eats them and ends up with it stuck in him. And they don't know, nobody knows this because they weren't. Anyway, Roger tells them that there are people there, and they have to go rescue. Now, the alligators, the crocodiles, have taken the younger animals hostage. So Kimba here is presented as an older animal. They're definitely their leader, but he still plays in the water with them. So it's a very tight balancing act they perform here. And Kimba has no problem learning how to scuba dive with his self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. But you'd think he'd just been on Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. And the adults, doing nothing else but watching, they rescue Dodie, and I forget what the giraffe's name is. Giraffe, long necky. And who is that one? That's Speedy, the gray leopard. Or there. Now Gruff sees the bubbles, and they're like, "Okay, must not mean anything." But he's got fillet. He's got the diamonds in his teeth too. They're not only in the gruff; they're in the gruff's teeth. And then he wants to know who is responsible for letting all the animals escape. And Polly goes and tells Mean and Nasty where the diamonds are inside the gruff, and they're going to go kill him. They're going to go kill all the alligators until they get the right one. So Polly gets chastised quite severely and quite properly. I mean, the alligators are jerks, but you have to go kill them all. And this is they unleashed the coal tar gun, whatever that is, but it's glue, really. I mean, it can't be good for anything. Kimba goes into the action, and this Mean and Nasty's helicopter and he jumps over the helicopter. He really is a super lion. I mean, really. It comes equipped with a cutting blade on the bottom, which how does that even work? I know it's a cartoon, and I'm thinking about it way too much. But the gorillas get together and just beat the crap out of the helicopter, and the coal tar is now crept into the water, probably polluting everything. The crashing of the helicopter burns it up, and all the it softens the coal tar. I mean, it's polluting everything and everywhere, but the alligators can get free by going underwater, but Kimba's exhausted himself and because of the fire and probably in the smoke inhalation, and Gruff rescues him, and everyone's friends again. Mean and Nasty have to leave. Somehow they get back to the airport from wherever they were. I guess their car probably survived, but they must have had money if they could rent all that. They think they're getting away with it, but there is Inspector Detector. Well, let's just call him that. I can't even tell what that says, but he arrests him and tells him, "Oh, by the way, those were just paste diamonds, so they weren't going to hurt Gruff. He'll just, they'll dissolve, or he'll pass them in a couple of days. Everything will come out all right in his end." And everyone's playing together. See, Kimba's playing with the little kids, or they're the same age. And we're back now. We're at episode 16, or episode 17. And the magic serpent. Dun, dun, dun. So the magic serpent is Puffy Adder, who comes to the jungle and he's going to take over. And he's called a magician, but really, how snakes can they have that reputation as being magically able to stop animals from thinking properly, or that's the reputation. But snakes can't do that. This one can. He's a good looking snake too. It's too bad he's evil. He hypnotizes the birds and Jenny Hen. And there's Rancid Reeky Bird, who's just the poor thing. Why would you call him Rancid? Just give him a real name. I mean, there's a family of Reeky birds, and they eat skunk grass, I think, and that's why they stink. But find me a live animal, an animal in the wild who doesn't have who can smell on occasion. There's Bucky running into Puffy. I think we should just call him the Adder. The magician. Polly. Hey, good looking snake. Well drawn. And Kimba. And Puffy's just being unreasonable. The birds all think he's great because he made Kimba back down, because Kimba doesn't like to fight because he's smart. The best way to win a fight is to not be in one. He zaps Boss Rhino. So now the birds are really impressed because they're bird brains. Yeah, I know they're dinosaurs, but they're bird brains. And then Kimba tells a story about his time in England. So we flash back here. Diddly, diddly, diddly. And there's Mr. Mustache, or Mr. Pompous, as he's called in the show. And these dogs are trying to beat up this poor little cat because their owners are jerks. And Kimba just beats the crap out of all the dogs. The jerk owners show up, and then they realize the cat's worth a lot of money. And they're going to blast Kimba until they realize this. They leave their dogs. They just leave them. It's like, how could you leave your dog? And they're like, "Oh, hey, you beat up the dogs and they left them homeless for the cat." What? Something had to be lost in translation there. Henrietta Hippo and Fritz, or Fiona. I doubt that the snake would try to eat them, but you just never know. So Kimba wants everyone to be friends with Rancid because he's a nice guy, and Rancid wants some friends. The birds get zapped to do his bidding. So they go. Uh, what happens here? Oh, they go. They tell Bucky, who goes off to find Puffy, and Bucky says, "Go tell Kimba," but he doesn't want to smell Rancid, so he sticks mud in his nose or something. But Dodie doesn't seem to have a problem there. Off he goes. Uh, um, the magician's spell doesn't last that long because Polly wakes up, and but the birds are still on hypnotized, and they can lift Kimba into the air, right? And Jenny and Polly's trying to make him stop, but the only thing that makes him stop is Rancid, because he smells so much that Puffy can't concentrate. He gets dropped on his head. They say this makes his magic power go away. They have a fight, of course, because there's always a fight. And Kimba's mad at him. I mean, he actually says, "I have a score to settle with you." That's why. Oh, I guess I got rid of that. But he chomps on him there. And we don't actually know what happened. They said that Puffy won't be bothering anybody anymore, which seems like they probably killed him. The end. All right. So here is The Runaway, which is a very fun little episode, I think. The Runaway. So what happens here is there's a runaway in the jungle, and it is not. Is it Henrietta War? Let me look here. Wildebor. Anyway, the little girl was hungry, and her mom says, "You can't eat everything all the time." She's like, "No, this." Oh. And then we meet Gargoyle J or G Warthog, who everyone thinks is ugly. I mean, he's a warthog, but they're tough critters. Young Samson River Ox is fighting with Cheetah about Speedy there. I guess that's Speedy. I don't even know what they're fighting over, but they like to fight. He's taking a paddling for this monkey, obviously. Some really fun visual gags in this, and he's working in the post office, but he doesn't like Kimba because Kimba's handsome. He does. Gargoyle again, they named him Gargoyle. He's got low self-esteem. He's just a sucker with no self-esteem. There's the pelicans are the postmen. They're probably quite away from the water, but maybe Daniel pays them well. There's Mrs. Warthog looking for her son, who runs away. Kimba runs after him, jumps on him, and that's where we find out why he doesn't like him. But Polly has a medal. Kimba wants to use the medal for Animal of the Year award or Animal of the Jungle award, something like that. But they have another issue. A howler gang of big baboons. Now we're going to see another coming up. Next week we'll meet the bad baboon, but apparently not all of them are as nice as Daniel. And really, you don't want to be on the wrong. In real life, you don't want to be on the wrong side of baboons. So there's a fight, but there's too many of them. So Bucky and him run away, and Wildy is just taken with Gargoyle, but her mom is not. But so they're building a tiger trap for the Howler gang to fall into, so they can deal with them. This is a funny bit with the bulls who are just noisy, and Kimba's trying to keep them quiet. Yeah, a tiger trap. Where on earth did they hear about a tiger trap? But Gargoyle falls in and ruins everything, and the apes, the Howler gang, is destroying the post office, the subsidiary branch, and they go after the main branch. But Wildy, I don't remember what her name is. We'll just call her Wilda. She's convinces Warthog that, he's a good guy. So he goes off to fight the Howler gang. Kimba goes off to help him because neither of them are a match for that many. But Kimba gets mad again and claws. Now, thankfully, and we don't know if maybe in the U.S. dub they took out the blood that spurted out of this one's face after this, but right on the nose, he left lines alone, and they're about to put, but they capture him and then throw a bee's nest, which Kimba ducks, and it's all over them, and they've annoyed these bees, and as we've learned, bees don't always have to die when they sting you, but apparently everybody gets stung a lot, and in a very similar ending to the previous episode, everyone Gargoyle and Mama are happy again. Everyone likes Gargoyle. So we've got two animals in this part that are, uh, you know, considered ugly or what have you. So thus endeth the first part of this. We're going to go here, and we're going to go to the moving portion. Okay.
Kimba's old enemy, the bad lion Claw, still holds a grudge against Kimba, for Claw believes that he should be the leader of the jungle. So he sets a trap for Kimba.
Tell Kimba I've had a change of heart. I want to make friends with him. Please ask him to come and see me. Please.
Claw wants to make friends with you, Kimba. That's what he told me.
And nobody believes him, rightly so. Claw's a jerk, and why would anyone believe him after all that? So, but Kimba's given him the benefit of the doubt because he's a sucker and naive. We had the same problem with Prince Planet, because he's a sucker and naive. But he goes off. Speedy wants to go with him because two heads are better than one, right?
Trying to scare me. He couldn't have picked a spookier place. Claw! Claw! Are you here or aren't you? Maybe Daniel was right. Maybe it is a trap.
You think, Kimba? He's really kind of naive. But Speedy ruins it. No, Speedy's a yellow leopard here. Uh-oh.
Who's afraid of Kimba? Retreat, boys.
Unfortunately, Speedy's been injured. His paw is hurt. And that's not good. He needs some penicillin. Kimba knows he needs penicillin to fix it. But unfortunately, we're going to go a little further. There we go. Look at this monstrosity. It's got 6 wheels. It's not much larger than the Fab 1 that Lady Penelope has now, isn't it?
And her daughter, Minnie.
Oops. I have to go back just a tiny bit because you got to hear the names.
A bulldozer enters the jungle, followed by a deluxe sightseeing bus. Aboard are Mrs. Vera Snobbish, her son Ignazo Snobbish, and her daughter, Minnie.
Again, Fred Ladd must have instilled that sense of humor into Peter Fernandez, or Peter's helping him write this stuff still. It is Titan Productions. But that thing's an eyesore. Look at it.
Run before it hits you.
It's not going to hit you, Kimba. And Kimba won't leave his buddy because he's a good guy. So they find this deserted village, which is where Claw told Kimba to visit.
Like Boston, of course. I wouldn't want to live here, but it's fun to visit. I think we should stay the night. Showstopper!
So they're from Boston, and they're very, very wealthy because look at that, again, that monstrosity. Why would anyone buy that?
On the side.
What does she think this is, the Ritz?
Quiet! Minnie! Turn that thing off!
Oh, there's a lot of this music in there. There's one scene that goes on about 2 minutes just of her dancing. It's like, pad an episode much? Be that as it may, it's not the most obnoxious music they could have played. See, here we go again. Those are hunter helpers have been sent out.
Excuse me for interrupting, sir. But my friend is hurt. Could we borrow some penicillin? Don't be frightened. I won't harm you. I need your help. Oh.
Kimba's very understanding, although he thinks everyone knows that the animals can talk. I still find talking animals. I mean, All right. But eventually, Kim gets invited inside and taught. And
And for it, I'll give you this medicine. But before I do, you're going to have to promise to do something for me in return. You promise to come back to Boston and live with me, and I'll give you this first aid kit.
Oh.
Well, you hesitate? Why, I should think you would jump at the chance. Boston is a wonderful town.
Fly, Eagles, fly. Sorry, if anyone here is a Chiefs fan, sorry about that. But being in Fossil, since Fossil Bed is in Colorado, you can read into that what you will. However, Kimba doesn't. Ignazzo snobbish.
Send you to college? I like you better dumb.
And then she giggles like that, like she's crazy. But Ignazzo is a pre-med student and gives Speedy a shot, and they're all better now. So, I mean, and here's where that dancing just goes on and on. Finally, where I wanted to be, it is.
People, Kimba? No, because Ignazio was kind enough to fix your hurt foot for you, wasn't he? Uh-huh. Anyone who likes animals can't be all bad.
You would think
Listen
so.
to that racket. How are we going to get any sleep tonight?
Yeah. Rolly, why don't we sleep in one of those deserted native huts?
Yeah, they'd be nice and quiet inside.
You'd think that, wouldn't you? But they're going to go in here, and then they realize it's where they shouldn't be. Because, and fortunately, or unfortunately for them, they're in the finding out phase right here.
What can those be?
Uh-oh, what could those be? Those look like all of Kimba's ancestors. And who's this lion?
Wait! Don't hurt them!
Kimba gets walloped. Fortunately for Kimba, this lion is friendly enough and dun dun dun, what could this be?
The hides of those lions are white, just like my father's. And you're a white lion, too.
Now,
Who are you?
My name is Leona. I'm the daughter of the great Caesar. Who are you?
Kimba, son of Caesar.
Kimba, or Leona, his sister, obviously, and we don't know if that's Snoween's was his mother, because Snoween was white, right? Leona is not white. She's a normal colored lion. Why the dub would say that is, I mean, I can understand why they would try to, but we can see it with our own eyes, even as a kid. And I remember seeing this episode as, at least once. And thinking, oh, it's really cool that Kimba's got a sister. But why did he call her white? I mean, she's just not a white lion. It's just the dumb coming out, and you know me. Oops. I'm a fan of dubs. There's no question of that. Oh, and guess who suddenly appears out of nowhere?
Oh.
Kitty is steamed here.
Who is that making that noise? Go away.
Why, Kitty.
Cat fight. A literal cat fight.
Kitty, stop it. I'm sorry, Kitty, but I can't let you fight with my sister. Huh? Sister?
She should have.
Yes,
had this.
Kitty. Kimba's my brother, though we never met until today.
This native village is where my father lived before he came to the jungle to be the king of the animals. These are the hides of my father's father and all my grandfathers who lived here before him. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so ashamed that I picked a fight with you.
Oh, don't be. I'm happy that you're that fond of my brother.
All right, let's forget about it, girls.
So definitely,
Why my father left here for the jungle. Tell me, Leona. All right.
Diddly, diddly, diddly. So we get the flashback story here, and Claw is still around. Leona knows Claw. Now, you know my love of Black Panthers and Black Cats. Not a fan of this being the bad guy.
Thank you very much for saving my life. I can't believe that a strong lion like you rescued old baboon like me.
So this must have happened. Leona must be a bit older than Kimba, simply because, I mean, once he went to the jungle, he must have met. So Snoween's not, not her mom. We don't know who Leona's mom is. Maybe in later episodes, I think she shows up again, but it'll be a surprise to me too when she does. Like I said, I've only watched this through all the way once, twice, maybe the whole series.
So they stay at the village. Right. And it looks like they're not going to leave. What's more, they like Kimba. They invited him in for dinner. Then how can I capture Kimba?
I guess you can't.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, I can, because I'm going to chase those humans right now.
Just the visual gags in this show. That's Tezuka right there, all the way through. He does it in every cartoon I've ever seen of his, and the manga that I have read, which is not much, but always has these visual gags that don't always have anything to do with the story, but they're just funny. In one of the Amazing Three, Zero, the duck, walks around the frame. Literally around the frame, like he knows he's in a cartoon. I approve of things like that because it just makes it a little more surreal and a little less. These are some. This lion wants to kill Kimba. Look at how strong he is, though.
He's tearing open the windows and the air conditioning's going berserk.
You could tell how evil Claw is by his laugh, though, right? So this goes on for a while. The freezer, everyone's freezing. Ignazio tries to turn it off, but it's broken. They can't leave. The fuel line's cracked. They're not going outside because there's a deadly lion out there, a killer lion. Literally, a killer lion. And I don't know why we have a beautiful blue screen here. Oh, and guess what's happening again? That's what happens, I guess, when you everything gets too cold in one of these monstrosities. Mrs. Snobbish. I wonder if she ever recovered from this. So, more fighting. Oh, see, another deep scratch. Kimba's trying to kill him. That's a tough little white lion here. Oh, I don't really need to see that again. There's the monstrosity. The happy music is playing.
I don't know how anyone can stand to live in this country where all the animals are so rude, except for you, of course. Say, why don't you come home with me to Boston?
Thanks, but I've got my hands full right here.
Where's the airport, Kimba?
I'm pretty sure he's holding her butt. Once again, subtle. There's humor here for grown-ups if you look for it. Or if you don't, it's probably not. It's probably just me in my mind.
We can take you there, but we'd like it if you and your family could visit us for a while.
Thank you, Kimber, but we'd better go home. I'm in no hurry myself, but I don't think jungle life agrees with Mother very well. I guess she's just too well-bred.
No, not exactly, Ignazio. She's too Boston bred.
Where's Leona? She's back there at the village. She She told me that I should go ahead without her.
Okay, so she said to tell Kimba goodbye. Now, once again, it seems like she shows up again, but I can't say for sure. Let's scroll back a bit. There's a little speechifying here, right there. And that, look at that beautiful painting. I mean, it's just so different. I mean, I think that's one of the appeals that the Japanese cartoons had, is that they did not look like Hanna-Barbera or the Filmation. They put money in these things. These were for adults, families on primetime television.
Goodbye, Kimba. I wish I could go with you, but I must stay here and guard the shrine. The treasures of the past are valuable. From them we can learn all the lessons our grandfathers learned before us. You take care of the future, Kimba. Turn the jungle into a civilized world, just as our father tried to do. It isn't easy, but I know you'll keep trying. I'm proud of you, Kimba.
And there you go. So they had a long way to walk, but everyone's happy. Kimba. It seems like I hope that she's back in again. All right, we're going on to episode. All right, we are back for our final episode. Oops. I thought we'd hear a little more of the song. So we've got two animals here, a hippo and a gorilla, fighting over the same food. They both like the taste of it and don't want to share. Humans are pretty dumb, or animals are just as dumb as humans. So Kimba tries to intervene and then has the brilliant idea, well, just another gorgeous shot. The brilliant idea of having because Polly says he was, raised or kept in a human restaurant, which is true. We've seen that in a previous episode. And they decide that they should open one for the animals, human-style restaurant. And he puts Dano and Dan'l in charge. Polly gets stuck after he says, I'm going to have my own restaurant. So there'll be two restaurants in the jungle. And, of course, they're building. Polly's painting. He and Bucky have a bit of a disagreement on the color scheme. But their first customers arrive. I don't know why this keeps embiggening. And so do the elephant. The elephants don't like it. That's Kelly Funt again. I don't know if we met Kelly yet. I don't think we have. But so this is our meeting. Kelly will be back. The giraffe and the gecko wants tsetse flies. I don't think that's probably Henry Hippo, who did not want worms. There's a big worm, and that's not Puffy Adder. I thought it was blue at first, but forgot what color Puffy was. And Kelly shows up with his buddies. They trash the place. Kimba's like, stop it. Now, these animals are eating over at Dan'l's place. It's Polly's Gourmet Food or something. And nobody's there, so they hire the cheetah. Dan'l's happy for a week away from Polly. And there's the cheetah who's going to help out with their advertising. And the river hogs head over to and what did I write here? Cheetah says, well, Polly get the business because the river hog's bringing all her babies. And of course, some lions and some, predator animals show up and they want to eat Speedy or the cheetah. Then Kimba shows up and beats all of them up. Another headbutt. He headbutts animals a lot. He did it he headbutted Claw again. This is not Claw. This is probably a relative, out of towner. And then Boss Rhino returns, and he's not happy about the restaurant. So we've got Boss Rhino and Kelly, two of the largest animals. If that hippo hadn't been happy, boy, they'd be in trouble. The river hogs were told, only given half the instruction about being messy, being rude, and etc. and so on. Kelly's going around, and he's all bummed. But fortunately, there's a garbage pit, and the river hogs are happy. So they're eating that. I don't know what they pay these people in, or if they're just, how that works. They don't really go into too much detail. And I'm assuming that the insects, the grasshoppers, are still floating around for the animals that want to have protein, solid protein. Uh-oh. Boss Rhino shows up and challenges Kimba. Kimba accepts. Kellyfunt's like, "Oh, I'm impressed with your bravery, Kimba. I'll take your place." Kimba says, "No, I gave my word. Boss Rhino will leave us alone if I win." Like, all right, whatever, you dumb little animal. So the fight begins. See, there's always a fight, no matter how Kimba says he doesn't, how much he says he doesn't want to fight, he fights. But he beats up the rhinoceros, and Kellyfun says, "You've got the brains." Boss Rhino's not 100% sure he likes this idea, so off he goes. And that's it. The restaurants are a success. I think Polly and Daniel are friends again, so they'll probably combine forces. Which it's one of the slight. It's a very funny episode simply because there's a lot of visual gags that you couldn't see here. But we are done, my fellow agents, with Kimba, and we will be. I think we'll be going to South Korea tomorrow. There's a hint. And we've talked about it. So until our next assignment in South Korea, this is X7 signing off.
Who brought the jungle fame? Who's the king of animals in Africa? Kimba the White Lion is his name.